All right. Enough talking about hip hop. We talked about hip hop for almost an hour. Everybody's pretty angry. They're like, "Hey, when are you going to talk about the game?" I think it's fun. I think it's time we go ahead and talk about the game. All right, we'll talk about how the Spurs did. I know I get out of hand when we start talking about Eminem. I know. I get a little excited. But the Spurs did a phenomenal job tonight. Once again, they're surprising. I've always said that I think that their record doesn't tell the full story. They are a much better team than they put on, and we are finally starting to see things come together. And there's one thing that I noticed about this game in particular that was very impressive. Now, before we talk about this game, I got a ad. Okay, we got an ad. We got a sponsor here, and I'm gonna let Clan take it away. So Clan, please take it away, my boy. All right, guys. So before we get into the content, I want to give a big shout out to today's sponsor. I'll be honest with you, okay? I get so many phone calls from where I used to live. A lot of people don't know this, but I'm actually from Memphis, Tennessee. I get that a lot. Are you from San Antonio? No, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. No longer live there, but man, I still get plenty of calls from 901, and I know for a fact that it's either spam or it's scammers or someone trying to get over on me. So I wanted to introduce a sponsor that I think would actually help you with some of that. So this is where Aura, our sponsor, come into play. So there's so many different data brokers that's selling off your information from industry to industry about things such as where you live, for instance, and they are actually legally obligated to take you off of those lists if you ask. But I'm pretty sure you guys know it's very difficult to get them to do that. But Aura makes it super simple. You can either do it on your phone or you can do it on a desktop. It doesn't really matter. But they have an entire list of all of the different data brokers that have your information, and you can opt out directly through Aura. And it's super easy to set up, and they'll do all the hard work for you. So you don't have to worry about going to all those different apps just to get some type of parental control, antivirus, VPNs, password management, identity theft insurance. They will do all of the work for you. And even better, it's at a super reasonable price. So yeah, don't let people just profit over your private information. Not cool. Just go ahead and hit the link in my description, and it will send you to Aura, in which you will get a 14-day free trial. Just click the link in my description. Big shout out to Aura for reaching out to me and collabing. So yeah, just wanted to spread that information to you guys, and let's get back into this video. Okay. All right. Good job, Clan. Thank you for that. But yeah, big shout out to Aura. Guys, link in my description. If you guys want to sign up, 14-day free trial. You support the sponsors, you support me. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. You sure already know. Somebody said I was using Shadow Clone Jitsu, which is really funny. Okay. All right, guys. All right, Spurs were very impressive. What stood out to me? What did I really like? So Keldon Johnson was hurt this game. Okay. Clan literally patting himself on the back. Yeah. So Keldon was gone this game. So I assumed that Osman would have a big game. And I even thought that, well, Malachi would get a little bit more playing time. And that's exactly what we saw. So Osman, 19 minutes, but he played really well. I know I'm going backwards. I usually start with the starters, but I do want to say that Osman played really well, and it was one of those games where I started to kind of see it a little bit. You know, if the Spurs were to bring back Osman and roll with them, I see it. It's just a matter of he was put in a position most of the season where he had to be the guy, which is very frustrating. Not the guy, but like one of the guys off the bench, and it just didn't work because it's like, okay, his defense isn't good enough, and you know, as far as his three-point shooting is decent, but it's not enough to make a difference. But in this game, when everything was clicking and everyone was playing well together, you can kind of see it. You could see the skeleton of something really good if the Spurs were to build their bench, which they will. So I really liked that. Malachi, I've said this time and time again, I could very well see him being a like a point guard off of the bench if that's what you wanted to do. But he did really well as well. Like 7 for 11. He did exactly what, you know, we asked of him. Defensively, he wasn't the best. He got a steal in there, but he wasn't the best defensively, and we're not going to expect him to be. But you know, if he were to stick, or the Spurs stick with him and believe in what he can be, that's cool, and I'm totally comfortable with it. honestly. So I think he brought us quite a bit of firepower. Blake Wesley, he wasn't the best, but he's always been a project. You still got to work on him, but defensively he was fine. So, but overall the bench, I was actually quite pleasantly surprised by how Osman and Branham came out. I knew that they would get more minutes. I thought they would have a good game, but this was a far better game than I even expected. And I know this numbers don't tell the full story here. It's like Osman 9 points, Malachi 17, but Osman, man, he was moving all over the place, and we are clicking and we're finding each other the way that we are. He looks even better. There it is right there. 6 assists. Yeah. So he fit in perfect with what was going on during this game. Zach Collins is still one where Zach grabbed no board. Zach doesn't grab a ton of boards, man. Zach just isn't a center. He's a power forward. He still should have had a board, right? But like, he's a power forward, It's very frustrating. It was very frustrating. Keldon's defense was nice tonight. I know I'm like really mean towards Keldon, but like, I feel like Keldon has gotten slower as the season went on. I don't know what's going on with that. Like, he seemed much quicker at the beginning of the season, and then as far as defense, it's just non-existent when he plays. It's really bad. But it's not like we have so many great replacements for defense, right? But Zach Collins, he was kind of a disappointment, right? Like, I wasn't expecting him to have a really great game anyways, going against Walker Kessler and all that. Like, he doesn't do well against guys like that, but he has to do better than this. But he has 6 assists, so he was still part of it. I still think that his versatility as far as passing makes him good enough to continue with the team. I only want Zach Collins if they can find a way to fit him in as like a power forward or something. Like right now, him having to run center is so ugly. I think Don Barlow could, at this point, I'm convinced now that he could take Zach Collins' place. And while he won't be as good of a passer as Zach Collins, defensively and what he can bring on the offensive end, and he does have high basketball IQ, I don't think we'll be losing too much. You just kind of have to fill out the bench a little bit more, get you a defensive center, and I think Don Barlow would look even better. But I will say this, I think at times Don Barlow has looked like a better center than Zach Collins has looked as center. But neither of which are centers. Yeah, you say I can see Barlow replace Collins. Yeah, and it's unfortunate right now because right now, like, Zach Collins is just taking minutes away from Barlow. Like, there's no room to really play Barlow when Zach Collins plays. But anyways, starters. So I said it was something that stood out to me. And what stood out to me was, man, look at these numbers. This is perfect. Like, these are San Antonio Spurs numbers right here. Now, Trey Jones, 0 for 2. He doesn't take a lot of shots. Okay, he just doesn't. He's never been that type of player. Assist-wise, he did great, but shooting-wise, he's never been this. All right, he's always been a guy that more so is just solid, and he's going to, pass the rock. He's never been one that's just going to put up a crazy amount of points. Sometimes he can, but can't expect that from him. And I'm really looking forward to in the future when we can get an actual point guard and just have Trey Jones coming off the bench. But Devin Vassell, this is what you want right here. Like I say this all the time. You need to take at least 17, 18 shots. I don't care. Put it up there. Wemby, 15 shots, 7 for 15, got 19 points. He had 5. Wait, I thought he had 6 blocks. Why did it say 5? He has 6 blocks. Didn't he? Chat, didn't he have 6 blocks? I thought Wemby had 6 blocks during this game. He had 6 blocks? They called one a foul? Which one was a foul? They gave Sohan the last block? No, Sohan did not block that last shot. That was all Wemby. It was given to Jeremy. No, Wemby, whatever. No, the last was given to Jeremy. Share with Sohan the last block. They might as well gave it to Sohan. They need to review that. Okay, weird. He really has 6 blocks. Okay, I don't know what to say. But 6 turnovers, that's about normal for Wemby. Let's be real. Let's see, 8 rebounds, that's fine. He doesn't even box out. I noticed that about Wemby. He never boxes out. But yeah, 7 for 15 is perfect. And then you got Jeremy Sohan 7 for 16, and then you got Julian Champagnie 7 for 13. I just thought the team overall passed the ball so well. They passed it so well during this game, and it got me excited because I'm like, okay, like when you play together, this is how good you can be. That's why I always say, like, the Spurs record is not a reflection of how good they actually are. It's just a matter of they're just so young. I don't think that the Spurs are one of the worst. I mean, we've been winning so often, so technically they are. But, like, I don't think that they're, like, worse than the Spurs' worst year. Like, I like this team even more than the mediocre teams that we had with DeMar DeRozan in LA. Because those teams just felt like we weren't going anywhere. It was just like, yeah, we're mediocre and we're going to remain to be like mediocre for the entire season. But this team, time and time again, you always see something where it's like you see the skeleton of something really good, right? So yeah, it's definitely something we can get excited about. Took away from me. They gave that block. Yeah. I just looked and they gave it to Jeremy. Yeah, that's weird, man. But yeah, just overall, I was really impressed by everybody in this game. I thought that they played together. I thought they played well together. I thought that they took smart shots, made smart passes, smart cuts. Just everyone was on their game tonight, I think. And it was very impressive. Sohan missed a couple that were easy shots that he should have made, but this is what you want to see right here, man. 7 for 13, 7 for 16, 7 for 15. You know, that's distributing the ball right there. That's not defense player of the year for him. Okay. And then if you look over at the Jazz, I thought Sohan did a pretty good job marketing. I know he had 25 points, but he was on them for a big chunk of this game. And then also I thought Fasale did whatever he could to kind of stop Colin Sexton, but but even still, he did fine. He went 11 for 20, and Devin Fasale went 12 for 20. So it's shooting wise, he outplayed him. Collins had 9 assists. Devin Fasale had 6. So he played well. The Spurs just did a good job overall, man. You can't. I know people see our record and they think that they can just steamroll, but you're not going to be able to just steamroll over on the Spurs, man. So I'm really hoping that they can get a 3rd win in a row. That'd be nice. But we're just gonna wait and see. But this was nice. This was really nice. The Spurs really just need to fill up their roster, right? Like, you need to get. I know people say Ron Holland, that's fine, but like Modest Buzelis, that's my guy. Or you need to, and then after that, maybe a year go by, or you let maybe Trae Young get a little disgruntled, and you can try to bring in Trae Young. But once you get your starters in check, and then you can just fill up the bench. Oh gosh, getting Wemby was the biggest hurdle. Sohan and Fasale, I've said this over and over again, they were phenomenal picks. I'm sorry, the Spurs did a great job with those 2 picks. You just need to fill out this roster, and they're gonna be so good. And as quick as Victor Wembanyama has been learning, dude, what the heck is he going to be even next year? Good stuff, though.